بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبعد. So today inshallah we'll continue with the explanation of the commentary on this second hadith. I think third hadith is already done in when we're talking about the Islam and the related matters. A couple of things before we continue. There was more to be said about Islam and this rank, but I think it should be enough. We should, just it's a bottom line now. We shouldn't continue more than that. It's taking too long, and I don't know if it will be fruitful or not. So I think we should proceed with Iman and foundations of Iman. Before we continue, I just wanted to touch on some topics quickly. Inshallah, it will not be more than 10 minutes. Then we continue with our commentary on the Iman and the foundations of Iman. First of all, last time I think there was a confusion when we're saying opinions. So the thing is that when we're talking about opinions, we're not talking about the opinions or the sayings of Ahl al-Bid'ah or those who are not related to ilm or whatsoever. You should know that the ilm al-Shar'i, the Islamic knowledge, is basically two branches, or let's say two branches here. The first branch is the narration, which is basically the Quran and its qira'at, and the Sunnah or the Hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Sahaba and Tabi'een. This is all narration. This is the first part of ilm. The second part of ilm is understanding and digging out the meanings from those texts. Okay, this was not. And when we say that, you should know that the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet, when he was sent to us, how he dealt with his companions is that he didn't have a die or dice that he would just put everyone who became a Muslim in it, close it, now we have the same typical form. It was not a production line. He taught them Quran, he taught them their sayings, and gave them the ability or the opportunity, or gave them the space where they can think, where they can take decisions. And then he was there for them. He would tell them, yes, you did this right, no, you did this wrong, and would correct them, so that he didn't just create followers or just blindly follow him. No, they knew, they were full of the Quran, they were full of the Hadith, and they were already Arabic speakers. The Quran and the Hadith is their daily language. They know everything or every meaning in this language. Yes, the Wahi came in some dialects of different Arabic tribes, so that sometimes the Sahaba would ask the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what this word mean, and he would show it to them. For example, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, the knife in Arabic, you call it sakin. And then the first time he heard sakin, he didn't understand it. What is sakin? Till he was told it's the mudiyah. Now he understood. He never knew that it was called sakin in this. He was from Daws, and maybe at Quraysh, and maybe for the Ansar they were calling sakin. So things like this, Rasulullah sallam told them or guided them, and even they asked, what does this mean? So when those Sahaba radiallahu anhum, after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, and Sahaba radiallahu anhum spread in the earth on all the Islamic world, which was expanding rapidly, and those Sahaba started teaching and preaching this Islam to others. Everyone knew the Quran, knew what they knew from Quran, knew what they knew from Sunnah, and also started teaching and telling them their understanding. Their understanding is not arbitrary. It depends on what they saw from the Prophet ﷺ, how they said. So, there is a difference between telling someone, okay, pick this up, or pick this up. The first one I'm asking him politely, the second one I'm ordering him to remove it. Those Sahaba saw this from the Prophet ﷺ and understood when he asked or he ordered what he meant is with the body language, with the tone of his voice, with all of these things. Similarly, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum told the Tabi'een, the people who came after the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, saw the Sahaba, heard from them, took from them Quran, learned from them Sunnah, learned from them how to think and how to get these meanings out of this text. And it continued like that. As we said, Sahaba spread in many countries, or many places of the Islamic world, and their students were the same. Now, after a while, we wanted, okay, so this time it's either you should write it or lose it. This is number one. Number two, there are people who explanation of the Hadith and Quran, or what they understand from the Hadith and Quran, is acceptable and other are not. Not everyone's understanding is acceptable. Acceptable means that we're going to discuss it. No, if someone, for example, if someone doesn't know Arabic and he wants to talk about a meaning from Quran or Sunnah, you don't know Arabic. It's not up to you. Your opinion is not acceptable. I'm saying this not because he's not Arabic, because you don't understand the text. Similarly, if you give me something like in German or in whatever, even French, I don't understand it. I understand, yes, this is French, but I don't understand what's written there. It just sounds that doesn't make any sense for me. So this is a thing. So this was one of the things we needed to know whose opinion on whose explanation is acceptable. Which one are we going to talk? And it can be right or wrong. We're going to discuss this on a next other stage. But we need to know whose explanation, whose understanding is acceptable in general. And then, as you could imagine, when those Sahaba spread and those students or Tabi'een spread also and started, they were just studying this and trying to explain, trying to compile, try to do all these things. And then we started having some, if you want to say it, school of thought. Meaning say that these people here are started studying the Quran and Hadith and starting writing and collecting and compiling and so on. So this is what the foundation of a school of thought. Later on, this became a madhab. And this is what is meant by madhab. A madhab, in short, is how this Imam understands the Hadith and the Quran and how he deals with it. Period. It's not more than that. If you imagine that any of those Imams would think that he was saying something, if you think that he was going to say an opinion just out of his mind, you don't know those Imams, you don't know them. And you don't know how this ilm came to us. If you think that any of those would accept that his saying, his opinion, his deduction, or whatsoever, be considered as an equivalent or a match for Rasulullah ﷺ saying, you don't know those guys. If you tell one of them this, the easiest thing, it would just, I don't know what I don't want to say what to do. Just imagine someone who could come and just insult you and your mother and father and whatever. What we're going to do with him? This would be the least reaction, I'm saying this because we need to understand this. Because when I'm saying this is an opinion, I'm not what I'm actually telling you. This is how a group of those scholars understood. And when I say scholars, those are the people whose explanations and understandings and deduction are acceptable in general. Yes, those opinions will end up to be right and wrong. We don't have a problem with that. Okay, so this is the thing. And when we tell you that this is the rajih, or this is the dependable opinion, what actually it means is that people are not on the same rank when we come to ilm. People have basically, most people, or the vast population, is what we call just common, or like common person, which we call ammi, which means that he's not involved in ilm. And then you go all the way up to when you have this mujtahid, and I don't know how to translate it in English actually. You know what mujtahid is in English? No. So yeah, mujtahid is the one who is, yeah. So the mujtahid, I don't have a word for it, but I'm gonna describe it for you. A mujtahid is a person who is capable to understand the Quran and Sunnah and make deductions and explanations that are acceptable, because from where he's standing, because of his background of knowledge, just to have a quick understanding of what or who are we talking about now. So this person needs to know Quran and explanation and tafsir, needs to know Sunnah and the ranks of all of the hadith, and which one is acceptable, which not acceptable, needs to know the opinions and the sayings of Sahaba radiallahu anhum and Tabi'een, needs to know what is agreed upon between the scholars before him and what is still under discussion, needs to know how to make analogies or qiyas, needs to know the Arabic language, whether it to be an intermediate level or advanced level, this is another discussion. And this is the least for what we call a mujtahid mutlaq. A mujtahid mutlaq this is the highest rank, and those, when you count them, you can count them actually from all ummah. As an example, from Sahaba, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, Aisha al-Mu'minin radiallahu anha, and from Tabi'een, you have maybe Mujahid ibn Jabr radiallahu anhu and rahimahullah. You have Rabi'atul Ra'i. You have, from after that, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Abu Hanifa, Abu Yusuf, Muhammad ibn al-Hasan, Imam Ahmad rahimahullah ta'ala, Ishaq ibn Rahawayh, Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala, Imam Abu Dawud, and so on. And it's clear that the farther we get from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the later we are, the less those people become, because it's the ilm is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Then this doesn't mean that we won't have any mujtahid. We'll always have mujtahids. There will always be. Maybe in not a mujtahid in all parts of all things, or parts of knowledge, division of knowledge of Sharia, but we will always have someone who's mujtahid in the finances, Islamic finance. We have always one person who is mujtahid in terms of worship. We have ibadat. We always have someone who is mujtahid in muamalat, in things like marriage, divorce, and so on. Okay, this is the right opinion, that ijtihad is not something that's a block. No, it can be divided, and you can have someone can be mujtahid in one part or one division of knowledge and not the rest. And then we have the other scholars who know a great deal of knowledge and then they can do a selection. They can select from those mujtahideen opinions. So when we say this is the rajih is normally said by a mujtahid, and it means actually what actually it means. This is the best I can understand from Quran and Sunnah, and this is the best I can do. I cannot find a better understanding. This is what rajih means. So basically, people who come, even scholars who come after that, and then they adopt one of those opinions and say this is the rajih. It's similarly, this is the thing that this is the thing that makes more sense for me. This is the opinion that makes more sense. This is the opinion from my point of view fits best with what we have from Quran and Sunnah. So this is the thing. So that's why when I'm saying an opinion, we're not discussing Ahlul Bid'ah here. We're not discussing the sects. We're not discussing this. Maybe in another majlis we can discuss it, but not now. What we're talking about is the opinions or the understanding of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah in general. Okay? Another thing, we're just going to touch this very quickly. My brother mentioned last time the hadith of Iftaraqat al-Ummah, or that the Jews were divided to 71 sects and the Christians were divided into 72 sects, and then Muslims and Rasulullah said that my nation would be divided into 73 sects. All of them are in the hellfire except for one. It's important. I'm just going to mention two things about the hadith. First of all, because when I told one of my brother here that the Jahmiyyah is not considered one of those sects, at least it's the opinion of a vast majority of the scholars. And he told me, how? Would you just putting them out and putting them in with your opinion? No, it's not like that. There is actually a metric for this. First of all, when the Rasulullah said, from my nation, that my nation will be divided into 71, this means that at the end of the day, they're all Muslims. It's his nation. He didn't say out of my nation. Okay? But they're still under the threat of being in the fire. Why? So, Imam al-Shatibi, rahimahullah ta'ala, in Kitab al-I'tisam, mentioned this metric to know what is considered a firqa and what is not considered. He said a firqa becomes a firqa, a sect becomes a sect when they do one of two things. The first thing is that they have a different opinion on one of the pillars or one of the major things from that Ahl Sunnah adopt. Like, for example, when we say about the Khawarij, they say, okay, anyone who does a major sin is considered a disbeliever or kafir. This totally opposes what Ahl Sunnah says. That's why they became a sect. When Mu'tazila said that whoever does that, those who does major sins are not Muslims and are not kafir. There's something in between. This is when we talk about this life, but hereafter they'll be at hellfire forever. There's also a major difference from what Ahl Sunnah says. So that's why they became a sect. The other thing that makes them, or makes a group of people, or group of whatever, a sect, is when they have a lot of, a lot of strange opinions, or a lot of small, when you have a lot of small, yeah, a lot of violations or a lot of wrong opinions in small things, but they have a lot. Like the major thing, like we can say, just for example, those غلاة الصوفية, the fanatics of Sufis, they have the thing. They have a lot of misunderstanding. Everyone alone might not qualify to make them as a sect, but with all this huge amount of violations, no, you're totally out. You can't be considered of Ahl Sunnah then, because you didn't have a different opinion in one matter or two matters or three matters. No, that's a lot. So that's how a sect is formed. At the end, they're still Muslims, unless they do something that would put them out of the religion or invalidate their Islam. This is another thing. Okay, I think this is enough talking about Islam. By the way, brother, these methods about who is Muslim and who is kafir, who is mu'min, and what is Islam and what is Iman and what is fasiq, and this is one of the most critical, hard matters in Islam, because the mistake in this has devastating results. When you can't define who is Muslim and who is kafir, this is a huge problem. Actually, this is the first problem that happened in Islam. When those Khawarij appeared, and they even said, okay, so they told the Sahaba, oh, you're not Muslims anymore. You just imagine this misunderstanding and how devastating this was. Just to imagine, if you lose this confidence in Sahaba, there's basically no religion, because they told us what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. They narrated the Hadith and Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if you're considering them kafir, then there is no religion. That's it. And that's why those Khawarij went astray, and they had a huge amount of differences and mistakes when it comes to understanding. So I hope I made myself clear with those things. Maybe later on we can discuss again this masail al-asma wal-ahkam, maybe in little bit more detail or something. But I think for now it's enough. And I wanted to say that the most correct opinion, that those who skips or who don't perform the 5 pillars of Islam, especially when zakah and salah, and siyam and hajj, the opinion that would just say that those become disbeliever is not that strong. It's actually a weak opinion. It's one of the weakest opinion. The dispute or the argument about the one who abandons salah is way more stronger. And just for your knowledge, the majority of it depends on how you're looking at it. A lot of the Salaf consider them a disbeliever. When the ilm was written and compiled and stuff, a lot of ulama said, okay, no, this is a major violation, but it does not qualify to be a kufr or a kufr akbar. Anyways, it's hard, it's critical, and it's very dangerous. This abandoning salah, it's really dangerous. And I don't want to give you an opinion about that. Okay, I'm not going to give you an opinion. Maybe you should read more about this. And no, it's scary. Again, just the final point about this. What I just said is not for those who abandon one of those pillars out of. This is when someone abandons out of laziness or just carelessness. This is this is the person we're talking about. But if someone just abandons salah or abandons zakah or abandons hajj or abandons siyam because he denied that this is obligatory, or things that no, I don't have to. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered this, but I don't have to do that. This is another thing. This when we go back to this istihlal, because what he's actually saying is that yes, Allah said that وَعَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا, and I'm not following that. I don't accept this. I don't have to do that. If someone says that this is istihlal, this is, even if he performs hajj, it's not accepted. He just revoked his Islam. So this was a long journey. Was talking about Islam. Inshallah, we'll try to finish next time this hadith or at least Iman. And then, no, next time inshallah we'll finish Iman, and then it will be the signs of Al-Akhirah and Ihsan. We'll try to make it another majlis, and then go to the fourth hadith inshallah. So now, when we mention Al-Iman in the hadith, when Jibreel alayhi salam asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he told him, قال فأخبرني عن الإيمان قال أن تؤمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر وتؤمن بالقدر خيره وشره قال صدق. So when Jibreel, peace be upon him, asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about Iman, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it's to believe in Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers, and the last day, and to believe in fate, both the good and the evil. So now let's talk about this first foundation of Iman, which is belief in Allah. So this encompasses or includes four things. Can anybody say one of them? Yeah, can anybody tell me one of the... We're saying that the first foundation of Iman is belief in Allah. We said that this encompasses four things. Can someone tell me one of those? What is the first thing to believe about Allah? Huh? No, we're talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the first thing in your belief in Allah? That Allah exists. Yeah, if you don't believe that He exists, then it's over, right? So this is the first thing. The first thing is to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists. And actually this, at first I thought we'd discuss some of the evidence, but I think it's, especially in our majlis here, I think it's useless unless you want to. But what I wanted to mention first is that one of the main evidence about Allah's existence is the fitrah. You know what the fitrah is? They call it innate nature or innate disposition. This is something that you cannot deny from yourself, you know. Even most, I haven't been in much discussion with atheists, but I know from my brothers who had this discussions that most of them are actually agnostics. They're not atheists, meaning that they totally deny God. They just say, no, I don't know, or they don't want to know, or they believe that there is a deity that created things, but they don't want, to get bothered more than that. So this was the first thing. And then the second thing about in belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's lordship or rububiyyah. And sometimes we refer to this as Tawheed al-Rububiyyah or monotheism of lordship. So Ar-Rabbu or the Lord is the one to whom belongs the power of creation, yes. Okay, again, so we're talking about the second thing that belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encompasses, and we said that is belief in Allah's lordship or rububiyyah, or sometimes we refer to it with the monotheism of lordship or Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. We mentioned that the Rabb is the one to whom belongs the power of creation, this one, kingdom and command, which means that there is no creator except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no sovereign except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and no one managing and controlling the affairs or everything in this heaven and earth except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without any partners or helpers or anything like that. Is it clear, or do we need to elaborate more? Okay, so another thing here is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has two kinds of commands or orders. We call them al-awamir al-kawniyya wal-awamir al-shar'iyya. So basically the al-awamir al-kawniyya, which is the command that rules or runs the universe. This one dies, This one gets born, a volcano here, earthquake here, rain there, meteor shower, whatever. Sun move this way, earth move that way, etc., etc., all these things. This is what is called al-awamir al-kawniyya, and no one can disobey this. It's no one can. You cannot get out of this. وَلَهُ أَسْلَمَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ طَوْعًا وَكَرْهًا. Either willingly or involuntarily, you have to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this manner. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands is not arbitrary. It's in accordance with His wisdom and knowledge. Sometimes you might not be able to grasp the wisdom behind some of Allah's deeds, of Allah commands or awamir kawniyya, but you need to know that that there is always wisdom and knowledge behind that. Not only wisdom and knowledge, mercy, and a lot of all the good meanings and the beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other type of commands is the awamir al-shar'iyya or judicial commands. This is the religion. This is when it's midday and sun starts going to the west, you need to pray dhuhr. When it's Ramadan, you need to fast. After the year, you need to pay your zakah. When you marry, you marry in this way. When you divorce in this way. When you buy and sell, you buy and sell in this way, and so on. Those are the al-awamir al-shar'iyya, the religious orders, and this is what the person is held accountable for. You don't choose if you're born a male or a female. You don't choose if you were born, tall or short. You don't choose when you were born. You don't choose your parents, but you choose which religion you follow. You choose if you're going to obey or not. The third part in belief of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the belief in Allah's Godhood or uluhiyyah, or sometimes we refer to it as Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, or monotheism of lordship. We mentioned this before, that God or Al-Ilah is the one who is worshipped out of love and veneration. So believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is rightfully worshipped, and all forms of worship are due to Him. This first thing. And that Allah alone deserves to be worshipped by all of His creations. No one else and nothing else deserves to be worshipped or associated with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in worshipping. Is this clear? I think we talked about this before in the Islam, in the Shahada, right? Okay. So we said that belief in Allah's existing, belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lordship, and belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Godhood. And the fourth thing is belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala names and attributes, or al-asma wa sifat, al-Iman bil-asma wa sifat, or Tawheed al-asma wa sifat, monotheism of names and attributes. This is by affirming the names and attributes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has affirmed for Himself in the Quran, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam affirmed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Hadith, in the manner that best fits Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we need to, when it comes to names and attributes, we need to have two things. First of all, we need to affirm it. We need to believe in it. We need to say yes. You don't hesitate in that. And you need to believe in it in a manner that fits Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or befits Him. It's the matter that is only due for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we should take care of four things that we must avoid. The first thing is distortion, which we call at-tahrif, which is changing the meaning of words, of the names. When you say subhanallah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions something about Him, that He talks, that He ala al-arsh istawa, things like that, you just don't try to find another meaning to avoid believing in this. This is what's called tahrif. You change the meaning of the text of the Quran and Sunnah from the popular or widespread meaning known in Arabic language and just find a distant meaning because you don't want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be similar to His creation. No, this is not what we're saying. We're telling him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala attributes belongs to Him in a manner that fits Him. It's not like His creation. You know what does this mean, but you cannot know how. You know what meaning, you know what, well, when I told you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked to Musa alayhi salam, you understand what I'm saying, but you cannot tell me how. You cannot tell me how the voice was. You cannot tell me how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked. You can't. There is no creation can tell you that. This first thing that you need to avoid the distortion. The second thing is denial or negating, at-ta'til. Say, you know, God doesn't speak. Or Allah doesn't speak. Why? Because humans speak, so if you say that Allah speak, Allah will be same like human. No, this is not what we're saying. We're saying that attributes are in the way that suits Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not like His creation. It's a different thing. And then the third thing, so those were on the negative side. For the positive side, when you say likening Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with creation, which we call at-tamthil. You say, okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hands and person has hands, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hand is like the person's hands. No, again, you're mistaken. We're saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala attributes belongs to Him in a matter that fits Him in a way that you cannot know. Fourth thing is discussing how or assigning a manner. You say, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala having this attribute, whatever it is, and they start to making it, to describing it, to giving it a how. You haven't seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't know. For example, we know that angels have wings, don't we? How do these wings look like? Can you tell me? And those are creations. We're talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing is like Him. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. So, again, shortly about this belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala names and attributes, that we affirm the names, that, of course, when we affirm the names, those names are not subject to analogy. Those names are only exclusively derived from Quran and Sunnah. You cannot, make a name for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's name subhanahu wa ta'ala is called tawqifiyya. It's only dependent on Quran and authentic Sunnah. Okay? And we said that we affirm that in a way that befits Him or suits Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without distortion or denial or likening Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to His creation or discussing the how. So this is what we're going to say about belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now it's been 38 minutes. Do you want to continue for a little bit or shall we conclude? Give me your thoughts. We're just discussing it. Tell me. What do you think? Want to continue for maybe 10-15 minutes?
Sure.
Okay. So the second foundation of Iman is belief in angels. Other religions believe in angels. Christians believe in angels. Jews believe in angels. I don't know who else believe in angels, but there is a belief in angels normally. But what differentiates between our belief and their belief is that our belief is based on the Quran and Sunnah. And belief in angels includes believing in their existence. This is number one, certainly. And then we believe in the angel existence in general. This is number one. And then there are some angels that we know by name. And we know actually what they do. And we need to believe in those. What they say, we believe this igmalan or in general, when it was mentioned generally, and specifically where it was mentioned specifically. So angels are Allah's creations, subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were created from light. And then the hadith narrated by Imam Muslim and reported by Aisha radiallahu anha, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, angels خلقت الملائكة من نور وخلق الجان من مارج من نار وخلق آدم مما وصف لكم. Angels were created from light. The jinn were created from smokeless fire. And Adam was created from what was described for you. It's also clear that angels were created before human. Can someone tell me an evidence for that?
I have a question. It says smokeless fire.
Yeah.
Where did the smokeless fire come from?
Allahu a'lam.
But then, I mean, what you said, you translated it to smokeless fire. But in the Quran, you said min nar.
من مارج من نار. Okay, so who can tell me why do we say that Malaika were before human?
Now, when Sayyidina Adam was created, when he was first created, Allah told the Malaika to bow down to Sayyidina Adam, which means they were around before Sayyidina Adam was created.
Yeah, that's generally correct. And before that, وإذ قلنا للملائكة وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Malaika that he will create a successor. Okay, so this means that the Malaika were there. So, okay. So, another thing, do people normally see angels in life? No. Normally people don't see Malaika, don't see angels. It's known that Jibreel alayhi salam used to deliver the revelation to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam without being seen by the companions. They saw that he was getting a revelation, but he didn't see Jibreel alayhi salam, except in some incidents. Just another thing, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to meet Jibreel a lot, and Jibreel actually told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam haven't seen Jibreel in his actual form except for 2 times. And this is, when he told that he saw him, has 600 wings, just blocked the horizon. Jibreel alayhi salam, ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين. He's powerful. He's one of Allah's big creation, great, powerful creations. So this means that angels are able to transform in shape, right? And they can, in this case, like in our hadith, that Jibreel came to the Prophet ﷺ and started asking him and talking with him, and the Sahaba saw him and they described him, extremely white clothes, extremely black hair. You don't see that he was traveling and so on. So they saw him actually. Again, when the angels went to Prophet Lut alayhi salam before destroying his nation, they were seen, and those guys wanted, to take them for whatever, for their sin, And also Jibreel alayhi salam used to meet the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the shape of one of the known Sahabas whose name was Dihya al-Kalbi. He was a smart guy, was a beautiful man. So Jibreel used to come to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sometimes in this form. Also, angels are totally different creation with abilities that are superior to human abilities. So just imagine, there are angels that carry the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الذين يحملون العرش ومن حوله يسبحون بحمد ربهم ويستغفرون للذين آمنوا الذين يحملون العرش ومن حوله يسبحون بحمد ربهم ويؤمنون به ويستغفرون للذين آمنوا. So this is Surah Ghafir, right? Those angels who carry the throne and those who surround us celebrate the praise of their Lord and have faith in Him, and they beg forgiveness for the believers. Also, they are of different nature. They are not humans. They are not animals. They don't marry. They don't give birth. They are not male and female. They don't eat. They don't drink. They don't excrete. So on. They have wings. So they are totally different creation. They are not like us. So now we know that they are not females. And this is actually important when you saw that angels are not females. This is important because, there's a side note, Arabs, or some of the Arabs before Islam, said that the angels were Allah's daughters. And who were their mothers? Somebody know this myth? And they said that their mothers were the daughters of the nobles of jinn. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala married those daughters, and the production was the angels. That's why they were worshipping them. وجعلوا الملائكة الذين هم عباد الرحمن إناثا أشهدوا خلقهم ستكتب شهادتهم ويسألون. The angels glorify and fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is on the other hand. ويسبح الرعد بحمده والملائكة من خيفته. So angels, الرعد, the thunder, glorifies and praises Allah. And so do the angels because of his awe. They are totally obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They worship him tirelessly and submit to all his orders. As in Surah Al-Anbiya. Everyone in the heaven and earth belong to him, and those that are with him are never too proud to worship him, nor do they grow weary. They glorify him tirelessly, day and night and day. نسيت أول الآية سبحان الله. وله من في السماوات والأرض ومن عنده لا يستكبرون عن عبادته ولا يستحسرون يسبحون الليل والنهار لا يسأمون. And in Surah Tahrim, يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة عليها ملائكة غلاظ شداد لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. So believers, guard yourselves and your families against a fire fueled by people and stones, over which stand angels, stern and strong, angels who never disobey God's commands to them, but do as they are ordered. On the other hand, since they are obedient and submissive to Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored them. وقالوا اتخذ الرحمن ولدا سبحانه بل عباد مكرمون. In Surah Al-Anbiya, and they say the Lord of mercy had taken offspring for himself. May he be exalted. No, they are his honored servants. So now it's clear that angels are not divine, they are not gods, they are not Allah's daughters, they are or sons, they are not demigods, they are merely servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
If angels aren't male or female, then why is, for example, Jibreel often referred to as a male, like him or he?
Okay, so normally in Arabic, when we mention initially you talk when the male pronouns, unless something puts you in the female. This is one. And generally, when you take something as male or masculine, it's higher rank. That's why we mentioned them in this. It's linguistic. If Arabic didn't have this differentiation, we wouldn't have it.
Do you see angel at the time of death, or you don't see it? You just
Yeah, you see him.
you say it.
Yeah. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are merely servants of Allah, angels. They are not demigods, they are not gods, they are not sons of Allah, they are not daughters of Allah. They can't disobey or rebel against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know the creation narrative that, Satan was an angel and just he revolted or rebelled, and then he was a fallen angel, and this myth, let's call it in a proper way, in a polite way. He was jinn, he was never an angel.
Yes, he was put among the
Yeah.
angels,
Yeah.
yes.
فسجدوا إلا إبليس كان من الجن ففسق عن أمر ربه. Okay. In Surah Al-Najm, وكم من ملك في السماوات لا تغني شفاعتهم شيئا إلا من بعد أن يأذن الله لمن يشاء ويرضى. There are many angels in heaven whose intercession will be of no use until God gives permission to those He will. To those He will, who. Okay, I think there's something wrong in my translation. Anyways, so some of the angels that we know their names. First of them, we first know the lead angels, or the highest ranking angels. First of them is Jibreel alayhi salam, the angel of revelation to prophet and messengers. And we said from his honor, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned him in Surah Al-Takwir. إنه لقول رسول كريم ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين مطاع ثم أمين. This is the speech of a noble messenger who possesses great strength and is held in honor by the Lord of the throne. He is obeyed there and worthy of trust. The other lead angel is Michael, Michael, the angel of livelihood, which is rain and plantation. Third one, Israfil, the one assigned with the trumpet, right? So we know before Yawm al-Qiyamah, before Judgment Day, there are three blowing in the trumpet. One, just people get scared or faza, and then the one that makes all people die, and third, the people all rise or resurrect. We also know that there are angels who carry the throne and angels that surround the throne. We mentioned this before. And there are angels in paradise. وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ يَدْخُلُونَ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنْ كُلِّ بَابٍ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ بِمَا صَبَرْتُمْ فَنِعْمَ عُقْبَى الدَّارِ. And it was reported in some of the hadiths that their chief angel name is Radwan. Okay, this is the chief angel in Jannah. We also know the angels of hellfire. يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا. And then they are called the Zabaniya, or guards of hell. And the chief angel is Malik, who was mentioned in Surah Al-Zukhruf. وَنَادَوْا يَا مَالِكُ لِيَقْضِ عَلَيْنَا رَبُّكَ قَالَ إِنَّكُمْ مَاكِثُونَ. They will cry, Malik, if only your Lord would finish us off, but he will answer, no, you are here to stay. And there are also angels assigned to humans, the angels that blow the soul in the baby and write the bounty, lifespan, deeds, and if this baby is happy or not, as mentioned in the hadith. It is one of the hadiths of the 14 Nawawi hadith. We'll mention it later. That يجمع خلق أحدكم في بطن أمه 40 يوما نطفة ثم يكون علقة مثل ذلك إلى أن قال ثم يرسل إليه الملك فينفخ فيه الروح ويأمر 4 كلمات. And then God sends an angel who is commanded to write down the 4 words. It will be said to him to write his work, his bounty, his lifespan, and whether he is happy or unhappy, and blow into him the spirit. Also, there are angels who are recording and writing all accountable human actions and words, right? As in Surah Qaf, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ إذ يتلقى المتلقيان عن اليمين وعن الشمال قعيد ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. We created man, we know what his soul whispers to him. We are closer to him than his jugular vein, with 2 receptors set to record, one on his right side and one to his left side. He does not utter a single word without an ever-present watcher. There are also guardian angels that were mentioned in Surah Al-Ra'd. سواء منكم من أسر القول ومن جهر به ومن هو مستخف بالليل وسارب بالنهار له معقبات من بين يديه ومن خلفه يحفظونه من أمر الله. It makes no difference whether any of you speak secretly or aloud, whether you are hiding under cover of night or walking about in the day. Each person had a guardian angel before him and behind him, watching over him by God's command. Those angels guard their assigned human from everything that Allah didn't command or permit to harm him. And if when Allah's command come, what they do? Step aside. They don't interfere. And there are the angels that ask each person in his grave the 3 questions. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? And what do you say about the man who was sent to you? Just to conclude, we need to mention that those tasks do not mean that Allah assigned them. Allah didn't assign these tasks to the angels out of need. No, it showed the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the vastness of His kingdom, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is self-sufficient, Al-Ghani, right? And He's worthy of all praise, Al-Hamid, Al-Ghani Al-Hamid. Also, the mentioned tasks showed that the care given to human. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just didn't create people and just let them go. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lordship, Ar-Rububiyyah. He didn't just create and let alone. He was not, those agnostics or whatever they call themselves when they say, okay, there is a God, He's like the watchmaker, He just made the watch and let it run. No, it is not the case. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala huwa Rabb. And there is a thing, believing in angels answers the question, are we alone in this universe? When the hadith in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أطت السماء وحق لها أن طئت, that it squeaked, the heavens squeaked or the sky squeaked, and it should squeak. ما فيها موضع شبر, there is not like a hand space, except there is an angel bowing or prostrating. There are more things done by angels, like motivating believers to worship and to avoid sins, encouraging them in battles, in the battlefield, and so on. So actually this is good. I didn't expect to finish the angels today. Alhamdulillah, this is good. Next time, inshallah, we'll take the messengers, and Yawm al-Akhir, inshallah, at least. Maybe we'll start Qadr or not. But inshallah, I'll try to finish in 2 more majlises, inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.